Greetings, everyone. Now let's talk a little bit about energy experience. Just becoming aware of chatter on Facebook groups, on the internet, student groups, about energy experience and not understanding how to place it in the progression of our development on the journey to full realization. How much do we value energetic experience that we have? How much should we value it? Does it really show that we're going somewhere spiritually, or does it not? Right? Does it not matter at all? Should I be like in the Zendo when I sit with the Zen master and I start telling them about this energy moving up my central channel, my spinal channel, my front channel, whatever channel, sideways channel, and they say, it doesn't matter, just go sit. Just let it do whatever it wants, but you sit. Right? Should it be like that instruction? Should it be Advaita Vedanta? It doesn't matter because it doesn't exist. Just forget about it, Should it be like some tantric yoga schools? Oh my God, it's the most important thing ever. You're having a breakthrough. It's this energy. It's so important. It means you're getting realized. It's the Kundalini, Is it that kind of thing? So let's talk about that for a second and clarify it a little bit if we can. The first thing to realize is that you can have full realization, become a Mahasiddha, without ever feeling a sensation of electrical current or warmth or little bird steps or the movement of ants or lightning bolts or orgastic pleasure or bliss. You get the idea. It's a huge list of things to feel. You can be fully realized without ever having that experience of that moving in you, moving up from your base towards your crown. Okay, that's something to straighten out right away. Most people don't know that. Nowadays, I'm really talking now to the Shaivist yogis and yoginis in the world who are really trying to apply this path of non-dual Shaiva yoga and meditation. Either you're using the textual tradition to guide you, or you're using the oral practice tradition, or an admixture of both, whatever. But there's way too much emphasis today, I've seen, on the energetic experience. And there's no voice to balance this out. So I'm going to balance it out. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter whether you ever have it or not. Now, trying to contextualize this energetic experience, that takes a lot of knowledge and mostly a lot of experience on the path. Really, somebody can't really tell you what goes on with your Kundalini until they've gone to that stage themselves. Kundalini is working right away out of the 12-stage view, first stage being ignorance, 12th being pure rainbow light body. Kundalini is functioning from the very first go, from stage 1 to 2, and all the way through. Whether you have energetic phenomena happening in you or not, that's the important thing to know. It's happening if you're changing. It's happening if you're getting character change. I see so many people and hear so many people raving about their energetic experiences, a little bit of energy that moves up in their spine. Well, they're still acting like a complete fool. So what does that mean? There's really no growth there, right? So I've come from a lot of practice groups on my way up in the traditions, Chinese ones, Tibetan ones, Indian-based ones, all kinds, where people really value the energy experience. And tell you, it's not that important. Why? From stage 3, we can start to have steady energetic phenomena occurring within us, because we're getting sensitive to ourselves and our energy is starting to open up. But that's just natural. That's just who we are. It's nothing special. Stage 3 is not a special attainment in the scope of 12 stages of self-realization. So what we want to think about is this. We are set up with channels, chakras, the body, the nervous system, feeling something happen, right? If some energy of consciousness is moving, and a mirror energy of consciousness energy is moving in the body, a more subtle energy, in the esoteric body, channels, the chakras, and so forth, it shouldn't surprise us. It shouldn't be a big deal either. And it has to be made very clear that I know a lot of people that have had very powerful energy experiences. The full energy going from the base all the way up to the crown, seeing 10,000 suns, feeling immersed in total oneness. And these people have reported to me that even though they've had this so-called highest Kundalini awakening, they don't feel one with everything. They're not a siddha. They're not a Mahasiddha. They can't walk through a wall, can't walk through a mountain, right? Which would show the ultimate dissolution of the individual entity. So then, how do we really rank this? Why do we value it so much? Well, the ancient texts and the oral practice tradition do say that some energetic experiences are signposts along the way of realization. Inner energy experiences, sometimes outer as well. But that is for the person who has that kind of constitution, spiritual, mental, physical constitution, that will have these type of experiences. There are many other practitioners who have a different constitution. Enlightenment is just as much their possibility as well, their potentiality. It doesn't have to come through bells and whistles, A very famous teacher whose sole practice was around moving consciousness energy in the subtle body, the extra bodily chakras, etc., was Swami Rudrananda from America, one of the great realized Kundalini saints of America, maybe the first one. Rudy said, if you think that the energy moving up a measuring tape from your butthole to your head means you're enlightened, you're a fool. He used different terminology. He was a New Yorker, he used a bit of profanity. It's quite a funny quote. Here he's talking about the measuring tape being like the back channel. He's saying if you can feel that energy move from there to there, that doesn't mean you're enlightened. Okay. This begs a bigger question, which we handle on retreats, and in the books I'm writing right now, actually. Kundalini has 3 phases. The first phase is self-Kundalini. That's what most people are experiencing. By the very nature, self-Kundalini or Sva-Kundalini means that it's still about you. It's still about you and your own personal autonomy. It's about you becoming Jivanamukta, but in your own small way, not connected to the universe yet. That's the next 2 stages. So, in this way, it could not be full realization if you have some so-called Kundalini energy move up the front, middle, or the back channel, whatever, to the crown. And you see amazing things, and you're communing with saints, and you're walking around for days or weeks or months. You feel like you're here, but you're not here, and it's kind of dreamlike, Because why? It's all about you. It's like, ooh, I'm in a dream. Ooh, my Kundalini has moved. Ooh, I'm seeing other people. I'm seeing other people as dreamlike. Ooh, I'm having woozy experiences like I'm on ecstasy right now. The pure bliss. It's all about me. So if it's all about you, you can be guaranteed you are not having above stage 7 or above experience in stages 1 to 12. You're not having even middle level, the second level of Kundalini experience. You're still working in the bottom level. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. Just don't confuse it for the higher stages of realization. So, another big thing I see is this. People think that when they're doing meditation or they're doing some kind of Kriya Yoga or breathing process, Tantra Yoga meditation, that when they have movements, they call them spontaneous movements. Well, the word spontaneous in English should be really reserved for completely unmotivated motions. Now, sometimes they are, but are they Kundalini? There's the question. Well, a lot of times they're not. There's something called pranotana. Pranotana is when the prana surges through the channels to clear the way for the Kundalini. Now, this can go on for weeks, months, years before actual Kundalini moves and you become established in that level of new character change, new consciousness, and a new expression of body, speech, and mind. Because if Kundalini actually moves and jumps to a new level, you get established in a new level of being, body, speech, and mind. And people should actually know and see in you, this is a character change. This person's different. And it won't be so self-oriented. A quick story on this. I was teaching a training in Canada. And just by luck of the draw, 2 groups came to this training who already practiced with other teachers. One group practiced with a group of Kriya Yoga people, in an ashram in a system where this Indian teacher was very famous and taught a lot in America actually as well, Canada and around Europe and everywhere. And his students were very famous for sitting and having these flailing movements, the head moving around, doing all this kind of thing. So I saw 150 people, and 75 on this side, they all stood together, and 75 on this side, they were from another Kundalini meditation group, but they didn't learn all this jumping around stuff, which people call spontaneous kriyas, that are supposed to actually show you getting evolved. What I find really fascinating is that when I was teaching this group, this is like some 15 years ago or more, 20 years ago, the group that didn't move was clearly the more evolved group. It was interesting. They were talking, we had 10 days together. We were talking in many of the breaks. I was watching them do their practices and so on. Clearly, they were less attached to the ego identity. Clearly, they were less attached to this energy moving as saying something great about themselves. And very clearly, the other side of the room, sweet as they were, of course, in stages 1 through 4 and 5, it's all about me. They were really all about themselves with these movements, and they were convinced that they were spontaneous. They were convinced they were happening by their practice. Now, I can tell you that the practice that both groups are doing is definitely equal in intensity. There was not anything special about the jumping around spontaneous group doing the herky-jerkies, right? But they were convinced it was. Why? It's very simple. It's cult mind. When you're in a group and the group does all this jumping around and you fall in love with the teacher of that group, or you really want to go into it and do the practice and you hang around them all the time, well, if you don't start doing it too, you're going to think something's wrong. You don't even think that sometimes. Subconsciously. You know how psychology works. You just start imitating it without even realizing it. Now, I heard it described really funny by one of my teachers. He called these movements farts. So, yeah, they're spiritual farts. You relieve yourself of the gas pressure so you can feel at ease again. And he was saying that this goes on for a number of years, maybe, in some people, and then you have the real Kundalini. So if people think that a so-called spontaneous movement or a spiritual fart is really demonstrating that they have Kundalini experience, it's probably not. Especially if it's what about me? Especially if wow, this is what makes me special, makes me spiritual, right? And if it isn't really egocentric, but you just had bad teachings, let's correct it now. Those are simply tensions that are running off, tensions that are just leaving. I find it really funny because if you look at Baba Nityananda, who was super famous for having very powerful energy manifestations, he never had any of these jerky moments. He never sat there looking really serious and doing Kundalini shaking. He never looked lovingly into the camera and did this fake to his devotees and his students, like you see some of the fake teachers doing now, So he did that. He was just a huge guy who was a walking, living Shakti Shiva incarnate. My own Indian Sadguru went up to him one time to receive darshan because he was looking for his guru at that time. He was at Nityananda's ashram. And as he approached, he said fully about 2.5 feet away, before his hands were able to reach the knees of Nityananda to pranam to him, he saw an electric bolt of lightning come out of his knee, hit his hands, and it blew him back. And he was stunned, but it wasn't just physically, it had a spiritual effect on him as well. Well, that kind of universal voltage is flowing through realized masters, okay? Whether they demonstrate it, whether they display or not, has a lot to do with their lineage. It's not so much have to do with the reality of whether they're realized or not. But my point again is that Nityananda was not moving much. Didn't have the herky-jerkies, okay? So, if you have a qualified teacher of Kundalini Yoga, very hard to find these days, they might help you understand these movements and rank them. There are certain feelings, not so much energetic movements that are strong, let's say, in channels, certain overall bhavas that occur, and they're listed out in some texts, like Tantra Sara, Tantra Loka. Christopher Wallace has done a good job explaining those in his translations of those two texts. I think chapter 5 of each one. You can check it. And they're different. These are different kind of bhavas. These do signal the awakening of higher chakra function. But again, here's the thing I want to tell you. In our system, it's very important to understand Trika Mahasiddha Yoga. The 12-stage view, first stage ignorance, 12th stage rainbow light body. You can fall anytime from stage 9, 1 to 9. And don't think that because one of these chakras opens up into higher function for a while, one of mine opened up function for a while, it was like 3 months, right? And I thought, I'm permanently established there. No, I wasn't. I have to keep working. After that wore off, I had to keep working at it. It was just the initial resonant vibe, the hit of it opening, right, at higher function. You have to realize this. This is very important to know. You can have these experiences, but they'll go away. They're just experiences. They're just experiences. The Tibetan Tantrikas are much better at describing this nowadays than the Indians, I believe, personally. And I think this is lost in the Indian tradition, and I think a lot of cultish-type gurus of Kundalini Shakti or whatever built this up over the last 100 years, traveling around the world. The wrong teaching of what I mean. In Tibetan, they're called nyams. Nyams. They're just nyam. Nyam is just some kind of phenomenal experience of energy. It's just like a hit of consciousness or energy. And it's just a spiritual experience. And for that reason, you just don't think about it. You don't worry about it. You know, the real experiences along the way that mean something will be taught to you by your teacher, confirmed by your teacher. They'll see them in text and so on, right? So just remember that. Okay. So I hope this helped clear up a little bit about energies, spiritual energy, and awakening. Another big topic is awakening. Am I awake? What's awakening? Don't worry about it. Nobody's awake until you see me turn into rainbow light. That's full awake, right? That's how we see it. Because until then, we're all just in process. Let's be humble about it. Let's not worry about how awake we are. Let's not check our progress every moment. That is so egotistical, it ruins your spiritual work. Let's not think something great and amazing is happening to us because of all the spiritual experiences we're having. Let's have humility. Let's have gratitude. Let's just say, oh, wow, that was an amazing experience. It's so amazing to be human. I didn't know this was possible. How lovely. And celebrate in a very soft, open way. You don't have to get down on yourself for having it. Celebrate in a very soft, open way, and then just let yourself continue with your sadhana, your spiritual practice. And don't form a new retroflective self-image, harder, stronger self-image as some great spiritual practitioner having energy experience, okay? Until the next time.